Okay, so I'm gonna talk about my dad for a bit, and I don't really know why I'm doing this, but maybe this will help somebody else. This has been my experience up till now with my father's. I do not remember when he was around when I was a kid, like young, but he was around for like a year or something when I was born. Fast forward, I'm like 10, and I'd never met him. Had no idea who I was, what I was supposed to be like. I was really lost. Like a young man is lost without a father, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. And he showed up when I was 10 and hung out for a few months and was amazing, and we did things together and whatever. And then like just one Christmas, he just never showed up. We bought him a bunch of stuff, and I bought him a big thing of Hickory Farms, and I watched it fucking rot over the next 2 years while I waited for him to come and get it. As it turns out, his new fuck buddy and my mom didn't get along because women, basically. She didn't like that her man was with another woman some of the time and laughing. Oh, dear God. I hate women. Like, as much as I am one, I also fucking loathe you. So it's like a complicated relationship. Like, I'm a lesbian with trans women to some extent, or even cis women, but the thing that fucks that up is basically that they're not guys at the end of the day. Anyway, so after that disappearance, my dad stayed gone for like 10 years. And when I was 19, 20, somewhere in there, he showed up, and I was, looking at buying a car, and I hadn't really worried about getting a driver's license up till that point, uh, because I hadn't had a car. And I was a nerd, and to me, what was the point in having a driver's license if you didn't have a car? And again, girl, like to me, car does not equal pussy. To me, car equals have to pay insurance, have to take care of car. Like I would much rather date someone with a car, I guess. Like it's a whole different thing. And like this is why men don't understand me at all. I talk to women about this and they're like, oh well yeah, that makes sense. At least some girls get it. Some girls are like my mother. My mother's like a feminist from hell. She wouldn't say that, but she totally is. Or was at one point in her life. I think she's not now. I think that's part of the problem between us now is that she raised me like a crazy fucking feminist by herself and then decided that she really loved dick. And that's like the craziest thing in the world to me to watch my mother, who was like God, a surgeon, and all sorts of things, like humbled before some low life. I don't know. I saw that a couple of times too many, I guess. I was just like, wow. I lost a lot of respect for her there. And I think that's maybe you shouldn't fucking date in front of your children. Maybe. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just who she was choosing to date and why. That's really part of it too. It's not that she was looking for a romantic partner. I'm glad that my mother has someone in her life and I actually like the man that she found. I just don't like the person she is when she's around him. If that makes any sense. One second. And I don't know, it makes things weird. And my dad is just such a piece of shit. When he came back when I was 19, like I said, he took me to drive and was teaching me to drive because I was still learning or whatever. I knew how to drive, And it was more of I really wanted to do something with my dad, so I said yes to driving lessons because, girl. And he had a Mustang, and he let me drive it, and that was fun. And and it was all, oh yeah, we'll keep in touch and whatever, and then he just disappeared again. Didn't see him for another 10 years, and then during COVID, he showed up on my porch while I was getting the mail and hugged me and told me how he had regretted not being in my life and missed me and yada yada yada. And unbeknownst to him at that point, I was hardcore in the middle of this. I was dieting and meditating like a motherfucker trying to lose weight. I was at like, of the 260 pounds I lost, I was at pound 255 when he fucking talked to me. And the whole reason for losing weight was the transition. And he somehow thinks that like all of this is because of him or whatever. And I'm like, no. Like, I was doing this for other reasons. Hadn't thought about you for 10 years until you came back in the middle of this and gave me a reason to drink, basically. I don't know. Like, I feel bad for him because he's kind of a fucked up person. But at the same time, I can't have that in my life. And that's why I called him and told him that, well, I didn't tell him. I left him a message on his answering machine because the coward wouldn't pick up. And my grandfather always left messages for people on their phones he would state the nature of his relationship to you, and then he would say, call me. So it'd be, hey, this is your grandpa, call me. When I left this when I left this message on his answering machine, I said, this is your child, call me. Sorry, I didn't say call me. I said that because of before. I said, this is your child, in that tone of voice like that. So I don't know. He would get it. And then the rest of it, I told him flat out that if I ever saw him again, I would get a restraining order. And honestly, you might be like, well, that took some balls. Well, not really. I fucking hate his guts. I've always hated his guts. He's never been in my life. He does nothing but cause me grief. I've told many people he was dead. My friend that I'm talking about getting land with, I told him once that he was dead because it's easier to tell people that my father's dead than to discuss what he actually is. My father is a fucking coward, worthless piece of shit who does not deserve to have his genetic lineage passed on to another generation. And I would be concerned about having children for that reason, except for he's such a piece of shit. And that kind of frees me up to do the trans thing that I was wanting to do anyway. As far as me having kids, I would be just as happy adopting kids as whatever. So if I'm with someone that wants kids, we might adopt. But highly likely, I just won't be involved with children because I know I'm damaged. And the responsible thing to do as a parent, if you are this damaged, is to not have kids. And that sucks. Sometimes you have to make hard choices in life. My father never wanted to make a hard choice a day in his fucking life. And then tried to lecture me about the fact that I didn't make hard choices. I'm like, oh, really? uh, there were times after he left when I was a kid that I would have gladly have seen him die 1,000 times, 1,000 different ways. And now I've grown and evolved as a person, and I like that he's alive. I like that he's alive and that he's a miserable, lonely old bastard with an ugly, ugly bitch that he's going to have to take care of for the rest of his fucking life. So, like, we all have our fucking pittance, I guess. There's a quote I like that says, "All the heavens and all the hells are inside you." I think that's a good note to end it on. I think that's Milton, if I remember right. It's pretty much true. Earth is neither heaven nor hell. It's earth. It can be made heaven or hell depending on your mindset and what you do. And like a friend of mine reminded me of that earlier today, telling me I should cast these thoughts off like slag and forge on with life. And I guess that's what I'm doing by making these videos. Is if I make a video on it, I'm done with it. And I'm done with him. And it feels good to be done with him. And the video on parents, I honestly feel is the best video I've ever made. Please go watch it. You might not agree with everything that was said in it, but it's what I feel and it's from the heart. And I think it's a message that every parent should probably hear. Thanks for watching.